take work off your plate and now they're messaging you 3 questions before 9 a.m. You've got capable people, you chose them because they're good, but somehow you're still that person that everyone's waiting on. You're still approving things, still clarifying things, and answering the things that you thought you'd handed off months ago. I'm Charlotte Elliott, and this is Get Your Life Back. Here's what I want you to walk away with today: the 3 structural gaps that turn every hire into more work instead of less, and what to put in place so your team can actually move forward without coming back to you every single time. Because if you've ever thought, oh, I just need to hire some better people, then you've hired those better people and then still felt like the bottleneck, this one's for you. So let's get into it. Most founders that I work with are not bad at business. They're really good. Everything's working well on the outside. They look like they've got a well-performing business. But underneath the foundation, the structural foundation is basically quicksand because they have built really quickly, but they haven't got that solid concrete foundation of the business to build on. And what I see normally happening is they've gotten really overwhelmed, business has boomed, they've grown really quickly, and then they brought people in a bit of a panic, hired really quick, but haven't actually put in all of the stuff that they need to enable these people to do their job and take work off their plate effectively. So then what happens is everything keeps coming back to them, the business owner. And these are the gaps that we need to talk about. And these are the gaps that I help you see and help you fix. So today I'm going to give you a diagnostic tool, and it is called I like to call it the 3 structural gaps. Very simple. So we're going to have a look at those, and then I'm going to tell you how you can fix each one. So let's get into it. The first gap is the fact that there are no clear kind of decision ownership, right? So it's a bit like you'll just say something like, oh, need you to do this. You think it's done, it's out of your head, but you haven't given the your VA or whoever it is on your team, you haven't given them the enough information to empower them to go and make the decisions and do the things that you need them to do. So what this looks like, for example, is you've got a VA who they keep coming back to you and they're asking you, oh, can I just change this meeting? Do you mind if I do this? Do you not mind if I do that? And it's like, well, hang on, is this not their task? Like, is this not what I employed them to do? Why are they asking me these things? And you think that you're being a really empowering business owner because you're like, oh yeah, off you go, just have your freedom. But that doesn't actually empower people if they're left wondering, can I make this decision or can I not? Or is this going to have like an impact? Like, especially when it gets to financial things, when it's kind of your business, like the client relationships or things that are actually going to matter or it could make an impact, they're going to sit there panicking, thinking, oh, should I check? Should I not? Can I make this decision? Should I interrupt them? And nothing really gets done. So there's a really quick fix to this, and that is basically sitting down with said person on your team, or do it with everyone on your team, and it's a 2-column list. And in one column, it is going to be you own this, and in the next column, it is going to be check with me first. So go through every single thing that is on their in their role on their job list and just define who does whether they own it straight right out and you're happy for them to make the decision, or whether you would prefer them to check with you on certain things that might hold more weight in the business. So that should help with that one. However, this brings me on to the next gap, the gap number 2, which is undocumented processes. So you can hand things off and tell them, right, really happy for you to go make the decision on this. But if they don't know how to do that or what good looks like on delivering that, they're still going to come back to you and it's still going to end up back on your plate. And I know what you're going to be screaming at the camera like right now, just being like, I'm already overwhelmed. I've already got so much on my plate. I have not got time to start writing SOPs and all these training documents. And that's not what I'm asking you to do. Just do one thing at a time. So the next time that someone on your team comes to you and asks something, especially if it's something that they've asked you time and time again, don't just message them back on WhatsApp or whatever, email it is. Put it in a document. It could be as simple as 3 lines. Just put it in a document and then save that in your filing system, wherever it is that you all have access to. And then that is how you start to build your SOPs. Or if you want to demonstrate it, another quick way of doing it is just do a simple loom of you doing the task really quickly, if it's quick, and record that. And then you can whack that into AI. It will write out a very basic SOP for them, and then ask them to follow that, and then fill it in, get them to fill it in with the more detail and steps, so that they are building the SOPs for what they're doing as part of it. So you're giving them the starting point, and then they're finishing it. So you haven't got to go away and sit there for hours on end. It's just as and when things come up, and this will start to build all of those really important and crucial SOPs and documents. So again, hopefully that's helpful. And then the third gap that I want to talk about is reactive team communications. And this is what happens where you're basically, everything's in your head and you are almost like this single source of truth, and you've then got people just coming at you all the time, all angles, and it can feel relentless, a bit like a game, like an unbeatable game of whack-a-mole, and the moles are all these DMs are just coming up, popping up constantly throughout the day, so you never get time to go and do what you want to be doing. Instead, you're just, it feels like a firefighting. It's just like one message here, one message there, and you can never concentrate because you're just being pulled off in every direction constantly. So the solution to this, I think a really good way to do it is, I mean, the end goal is, I think, just to have one check-in once a week with your team where they bring anything that's on their plate, any unanswered questions and stuff. However, you might not be able to get to that straight away, which I understand. So have a time each day that is clear. So like 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I will look at everything. This is the delegated time. And then they need to put it into one single source document that you are going to review things on and answer, not send you WhatsApps, emails, voice notes, bits all over the place. It just needs to be in one single place so that you can check it, and then they can go back and see what your answer is on it. And obviously, if it's something completely urgent, then do what you have to do, booking a call. But that's the rhythm you want to get into, is having people know that, right, at this time on this day, I can get an answer if it's urgent, right? Then they can go and work around things that they could be doing otherwise. So it's making everything a bit more efficient as well. And it gives you then the space to actually block off time, be like, right, that is when I will be dealing with team stuff. I now have all of this time back uninterrupted to focus on what I want to be doing, focusing on the big stuff that's going to help move the needle in your business, bring in more sales, generate new leads, or even come up with like new ideas and get creative, because you can fully focus on what you want to be doing rather than just being interrupted every 5 minutes and wanting to scream at your team because they're not doing what you employed them to do in the first place. They were supposed to be freeing you up, and instead it's just been like, what the hell's going on? They're just always coming at me, it feels like. So yeah, hopefully those 3 gaps and those 3 kind of solutions will help you to start just getting a bit more structure into the foundations of your business. And I want to leave you with the 3 questions that I like, the structural gaps audit. And I want you to really think about these, write them down, and start identifying and pick which one is like the biggest gap. And that's the one that you want to work on. Because you've got to start somewhere, and it's all right just listening to things, what you should be doing, but unless you're actually going to sit down and start working through these things, nothing's going to change, and you're going to end up a month, 6 months, a year down the line and be like, oh my god, like, how the hell is this not eased up? How am I still going around in circles over the same things? So 3 questions I want you to answer today. The first one is, does every single person know what decisions they can make without me? And if that's a no, even if it's a maybe, then you need to have a little bit of a look at that. And the next question is, if I disappeared for a week, could my team run things and handle things without me? And this is probably where you're questioning, does everyone know the logins and the passwords that they need to access things without you? And if they don't, go and fix that, because this is one of the biggest time wasters I have seen in all the businesses that I've worked in. with all the founders that I work with, they have got passwords scattered left, right, and center. They're trying to find them on multiple systems in endless threads of WhatsApp or voice notes, or they're all over the place. And it's like, you need everything. Honestly, it would save hours every week for people just to get that one thing done. So if you haven't got that, go and do it. And LastPass is really good for that. So, third question: does my team know when to bring things to me or when to hold off and come to you later with them, or figure it out alone? Because sometimes, like, your team, they will figure stuff out if you leave them long enough to do it, rather than just jumping in to save them all the time. So that's another tip. But yeah, have a little look at your answers to those 3 questions, and then pick one, the one that is costing you the most at the moment, and start to fix that. That is the thing that you need to fix first, and that is going to make such a big difference. And then I want you to start building on that. So I have created what I call the setup check. It is 5 days to work through. It's only 10 minutes a day before you start saying, I haven't got time, it's too much on my plate. Honestly, it's going to save you hours every week if you just spend 10 minutes per day for the next 5 days. And I will open up a link for you to download this. What it's going to do is take you through, honestly, it's just like, it's like a mini audit, I suppose. So you can download it here. It's 10 minutes a day, and it is going to help you see why your team keep coming back to you with all of this stuff. And then it was going to identify the one thing that you need to hand off first and how you can start doing that. If you already know that there is so much stuff, do go and start with this audit. But then if you want to speak to me and have a chat and go through things a bit deeper, more specifically on your business, I'm happy to do that. But the starting point is those 3 answers to the audit, and then have a look at the setup check and let me know how you get on. I will see you in the comments. Thank you for joining me today.